Chugging on along, we are now into the 5th game of the Mega Man series. This one was pretty interesting. By interesting, I mean that there is a number of Mega Man enthusiasts that consider the 5th entry to be one of the, if not the weakest. What makes it so interesting for me personally is that as the person that's reviewing the game, I'm looking at the game from multiple perspectives in order to attempt to give a fair and concise recommendation or not. So my opinion of the game is likely going to differ a bit from yours. Before we begin though, I need to make one quick correction. I had thought that Mega Man 5 was the last 8-bit game before moving on to 16-bit games for the Super Nintendo. Turns out that wasn't correct. We actually have one more game, which is Mega Man 6, as my Mega Man enthusiast viewers are very quick to point out. Never mind that the last video had some shoddy audio problems, he made a small mistake. Let's get the torches and pitchforks, gentlemen. We're gonna skin the heathen alive. Okay, let's get started. Going into development of Mega Man 5 is honestly kind of dull. It was released in December of 1992, but it does not feature many significant changes. It's mostly just slight tweaks here and there, with only 1 or 2 real changes for gameplay. A new lead supervisor was introduced for the team behind Mega Man 5, with KJ Inafune advising him during the process, much like how a vizier advises the Sultan. This was done in order to keep Mega Man 5 from turning into a clusterfuck like Mega Man 3. Oh, do I know that feeling. The quarter guy is still hovering over my shoulder, waiting for me to fuck up. I can still feel the back of his hand, ready to hit the side of my skull. Even the process for the Robot Masters was the same. Another design contest was held for the new Robot Masters, and this time there were over 130,000 entries. I can just picture Inafune in a corner rocking back and forth. This was the cause of some trouble, as the chosen Robot Masters had to undergo some re-illustration as well as issues with color and balance. The story is largely unchanged, big surprise. Some asshole has 8 Robot Masters and is trying to show the world how big his dick is. I do have to wonder at this point why it's always 8 Robot Masters. Do they come in pudding snack packs or something? Well, who's waving his schlong out in public this time? Wait, Proto Man? Isn't he supposed to be a good guy? Or at least somewhere near the opposite side of the dickhead spectrum? No? Alright, carry on like I don't notice the plot hole or anything. So apparently Proto Man is fed up with Dr. Light, probably due to his diet, I don't know, and kidnaps him. Mega Man now needs to confront Proto Man and slap him across the face for being a twat. This time around he gets assistance from Dr. Cossack from Mega Man 4 in the form of a weapon, but we'll get to that later. Let's start the gameplay off with our ever-present robot roll call. Starman? Check. Gravity Man? Check. Gyro Man and Stone Man? Check. Crystal Man? Check. Charge Man? Check. Napalm Man and Wave Man? Double check.
Gypsy, hi girl.
Check. And check. Wait. As before, we have a new list of weapons to go through, so let's take a look. Starman gives us Star Crash, which is a throwable shield, and most likely made out of Doritos chips. Gravity Man's Gravity Hold is my personal favorite of the game. Using it causes enemies to fly upward into space, never to be seen again. It's great when handling swarms of these little fuckers, but you can't get any item drops when using it. The Gyro attack from Gyro Man is a spinning helicopter blade that can be launched forward or up and down. It has pretty decent energy use, but also requires some skill to use. Crystal Man's Crystal Eye shoots out a ball that breaks into little balls that bounce off walls. Quick! Someone call AC/DC! Napalm Man and Wave Man have the obligatory tiny wall-breaking nuke and questionably useful projectile, so we can move on. Charge Man turns your slide into an attack. Warning, does not guarantee the strength of a train nor its whistle.
The whistle's got woo!
And Stone Man, well, let's just say his weapon is the special needs kid of the bunch. It's only useful against one robot, and thank God too. Giant teabagging David Bowie ripoffs. Rush gets a few changes in this game, which is not necessarily good. Rush Marine appears to be absent here, which is understandable because it's the most situational of the three. And I'm not sure why this change was made to the Rush Coil, but it's pretty fucking dumb. E-Tanks and Eddie make a return too, but the E-Tanks seem to be more scarce this time around. Not only that, but I've been getting extra lives out the ass. Somewhere along the line you may come across an E-Tank with a big M on it instead of an E. Trust me when I say this, save it for the end of the game, you will thank me later. This beauty is the mystery tank, and it refills everything. Use it in a tight pinch at the end of the game, and get some earplugs, because the refilling sound will likely rape your ears. Finally, we have two new weapons for the game. The first one is the Super Arrow. It can be used as a weapon and if fired at a wall, creates a usable platform. Sadly, I can't take this item seriously at all, since the suction cup thing on the end reminds me of something from Winnie the Pooh. The last weapon is a gift from Dr. Cossack and probably the best in the game. It's Beat the Bird. No, you are not beating up a small bird. And no, his name is not Beat as in jerk off a small robotic bird. Seriously, what the fuck is wrong with you people? In each stage, you'll find a letter that spells out Mega Man 5. Once you get all the letters, you'll have access to the bird. Beat's a good little minion to have around because he turns bosses into little bitches, so he's worth going out of the way to get. Proto Man's Fortress is a standard sort of shit you've seen 4 times before, and the bosses are pretty simple with Beat helping you. The most unique thing about the place is that you can literally tear it to the ground. We confront Proto Man only to find out it's not Proto Man but instead a robot created by Dr. Wily named Darkman 4, the last of 4 robots of the same name. Naturally, we need to take on Dr. Wily now and... Wily? Aren't you forgetting something? There you go. The Wily Fortress in this game is also pretty standard with only one issue, which I will be getting to shortly. The one thing I'd suggest doing is stocking up on E-Tanks for the boss rush at the end. If not, then that's the best time to use the mystery tank. And with Beat giving Dr. Wily a good thrashing, he leads us to Dr. Light. Upon saving him, the building starts to come down and Jesus! Damn, Mega Man, you've been lifting? Proto Man blasts Mega Man a way out, allowing them to leave with Dr. Light and ending Mega Man 5. Here's where things get interesting. When I look at a game, I'm looking at it from 3 main angles: story, innovation, and difficulty. I'm also factoring in 2 types of audiences when I'm reviewing as well, those that are Mega Man fans and those that aren't. For the fan base, Mega Man 5 is certainly the weakest of the series. It adds almost nothing new and takes away from a couple mechanics, like Rush. The story is practically the same too, so if you're a hardcore Mega Man fan, you're not missing out one bit. On the other hand, compared to the previous games I've played, Mega Man 5 is actually the best to start out with if you're looking to get into the series. The difficulty here has been dropped again, making it pretty user-friendly. The story is stupidly easy to follow and there are plenty of mechanics to help you proceed. There are fewer dickish moments too, with exceptions. Let's get into the biggest problem of the gameplay: gimmicks. Mega Man 5 is sporting a few of them, with the worst probably being the anti-gravity and Gravity Man stage. The problem with gimmicks goes back to what I said in Donkey Kong Country 3. They don't really test your ability to platform, but rather exist for the sake of existing. And not to mention the dickish moments come out of nowhere, most often in the Wily stages. Despite this, the low difficulty actually smooths out the gimmicks a bit, so there's nothing really gut-wrenching. The look of the game feels a bit stronger than Mega Man 4. I think that's likely because the stages are drastically different visually, like comparing Starman and Napalm Man stages. The music feels stronger too, but that may be because I don't have the boss music playing in my head constantly like in Mega Man 4. So here's my recommendation for Mega Man 5. If you're new to the series, start with it, then move to the harder games. If you're a veteran of the series and want a challenge, you may be better off not even touching it. Aside from that, there isn't much else that can be said about Mega Man 5. Next up we take on Mega Man 6, which should be the actual last 8-bit game we're looking at before moving on to the 16-bit games. Mega Man 6 will likely be coming at a later date. By the time this is uploaded, I'm going to be prepping for a short vacation to the San Diego area, and when I return, then hopefully I can get to the next review as soon as I can. Now, if you want to know what I'm doing while I'm down there, you can check me out on Twitter, which is going to be over here, or maybe the link will be over here, not sure yet. I'm going to be posting about the trip, as well as answering any questions, both the thoughtful ones as well as the stupid ones. But aside from that, thank you so much for watching. This has been Regnella, wishing you to have fun, and to take care. Mega Man 6 will be likely coming at a later date. By the time... God damn it! The fucking poster! Oh, Jesus! You'd think that tape would have held on for longer. I mean, sure, it was already on notice papers that were on our door and then replastered on our wall for a couple of months, but no, it's, yeah, you know, you ask it to hold for a poster for, 10 minutes and it's like, nope, I'm getting the fuck out of here.